What's up, guys? How you doing tonight? Friday night. Hope that everyone's grind is going well. Got some things going on here. We were playing the 2K and the 3K guaranteed, our nightly grind, and some kings here in this 3K. What do you think of that? So we just bought into both of these things. We have starting stack, in both of them. The rebuy period just ended in the $10 2K guaranteed, and kings. What do we do? What do we do with kings? Raise it. Yeah. So we'd be making it 2.5x 500 plus 600. So let's make it 900. A little bit less. We'll go for the full amount. Oh, wow. When it rains, it pours. Guys, I don't even know what to think of this. Look at this. The unbeatable hand. We just start, we get kings and aces. It's going to be one of those nights, guys. Let's go ahead and make the raise against Bob Wiley to 1160. Looks like we got through in our pocket kings hand. We'll see if we can get some action from Bob. Come on, Bob. How them jacks looking? He makes the call. 8-9-3, pretty good flop for everything. So let's make it 800, a little bit less. We aren't really worried about giving free cards away here, so just try to suck out a little bit more from him. And if he has jacks, I think he raises here. Yeah, look at that, he check raises. So let's go ahead and make the check. Let's make the call here. Let him continue firing out. Two of spades changes nothing. And there it is. Pocket queens versus... And we are out of the tournament. 125 out of 153 to that two-outer. Ooh, brutal. You know the worst thing about that is, guys? The worst thing about that hand. Yep. We have to reset our aces cracked meter. Oh no. Okay, so that was pretty brutal. Let's go ahead and shut that one down. We'll get back to the 30, and this is our one shot tonight. This is our Obi-Wan right here. That was kind of ugly. That was kind of ugly. What a way to start. Okay, ace queen offsuit. Gosh, I hate resetting that ace's cracked meter. I wonder what it's at right now. Is it a spoiler alert to show? 6. We were at 6, and now we're at 0. Oh, that's brutal. Oh, that's brutal. Okay, shake it off. Taylor Swift that bitch. Let's make the raise here with ace queen off. Up against B. Shriever, who checks to us, and we're going to go ahead and continue as if we have the best hand, because we do fire out the same amount. Actually, I think against the small blind we've been firing at half pot, right? Yeah. B. Shriever makes the fold. Hey, by the way, good to see everybody here. We got Shorty Lambert, we got Rick the Hat, we got J-Doc, we got Jenjoy, we got JP42356P. Always a pleasure to see you, JP42356P. Vice Chick. We got C-Mac, and I think Grateful Mouse is with us tonight, too. So it's great to see everybody here. What do you think about the background for the night? Spent a little bit of time painting the back wall. That's what I came up with. I'm sure I'll paint it to something different tomorrow. So sad. So sad. I'm more sad about having to reset this aces cracked meter. One of these days we're going to get back to our former glory. 18 aces in a row. 18 aces in a row. Amazing. It's an amazing run, really. I mean, we play it pretty aggressively too. We don't slow down with those kind of hands, so We pick up a lot of blinds, we pick up a lot of antes, and we pick up a lot of C bets where it comes 2-2-3, and everyone else is slow playing their aces, and we're like, well, nope. We're going to go ahead and play it as if we had ace queen. We're going to go ahead and play it as if we raise with queen 7 suited. Scorpio in the stream, great to see you, man. We also have DD Pool showing up with some of those cool emotes. Oh. Yeah, you know what? We're going to have to highlight that one. The bad beats. Uptime. Been live for 6 minutes. 6 minutes in. Ouch. So what are we at? We're at episode 28. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to do that in this little day planner. Here we go. Day planner. What is it? It's the 18th, episode 28. We've got June crying over there for who knows why. And 6 minutes in. Aces cracked. Wah, 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 wah. Boom. Let's do it. Let's add it calm. Aces. Oh, I hate doing it. I hate doing it. Change that command. Plus 0. The current record is at 18. Dutch tilt. It's brutal. There it is. Back to 0. Decker's here. It's great to see you, man. We also have Poker Pete. Lost to Queens, Pat's Poker. He had a 2-outer on the river. We got it all in on the turn. It was playing out perfectly. We 3-bet pre-flop. He called. The flop came 9 high, 9-8-3. We're putting him on jacks. He actually has queens. He checks. We fire out. He raises. We call. The turn comes at 2. It's completely rainbow. He fires that all in. We snap call him with the aces, expecting to see jacks. But we don't see jacks. Instead, we see queens, and we see that queen on the river. Oh, brutal. John Blaze says, what's a good strategy for the show me tourney? I would say pay attention. You know, that's the best strategy. It's kind of different than most other tournaments because you get to correlate betting patterns every single hand. So pay attention, see what you can pick up on your opponents, and other than that, it plays like any other tournament. Okay, little Queen 7 offsuit against Papaya. Yeah, I'll make the fold to you, Papaya. Rick the Hat, binge watching Daredevil. You know, I only watched the first episode of Daredevil. I'm gonna have to spend some time with it. Look at that, we got F-Link resubbing 2 months in a row. Hey, F-Link, thank you so much for supporting the stream, sticking with us another month. Guys, can we get some crew emotes for F-Link? Rick the Hat, between Python and Django and Ruby on Rails, what have I heard? Python and Django is okay. You know, it's a good web development tool. I prefer Ruby on Rails just because I feel like the gem support, and I just feel like there's a lot more gems and a lot more options. But you know, I guess for your front end stuff, most of that you're going to be using JavaScript anyway. I don't really think that there's that much of a difference, really. I feel like Python and Django is a little bit less about standardization, and you have a little bit more flexibility with it. That can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. I like Ruby on Rails. You know, I think that it's a pretty platform. But yeah, I mean, it's basically, you know, different different brands of screwdrivers. Basically, I mean, both of them are going to be able to do what you want them to do. The nice thing about Python, I think, is that it's used more in schools. You know, so I don't know. Is that really a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. I like coding in Ruby better than Python, but they're both pretty friendly languages. I think, you know, both of them are gonna get the job done, and switching between Python and Ruby is not too tough. You know, I would say this. I would say if you're working on your own project by yourself, just play around with Python and play around with Ruby, whichever one you like more. Go with that. And Django as a framework or Rails as a framework, it doesn't really matter. The core language, Python versus Ruby, is really just going to be a personal preference. But if you're working on a team, then go with the language that most of the team knows. So if most of the team knows Python, go with Python and Django. If most of the team knows Ruby, go with Ruby on Rails. If most of the team knows PHP, then shoot, find another team. Yeah, that would be my my advice. Casket Romance has that hand history down perfectly. Flatty, it's great to see you, man. If you're just getting in, you missed a pretty bad beat. Put me a little bit on tilt right from the get-go. But it's good to see you, man. I hope things are going well in your life. Making the fold. Mac Tierney, open limping. I hate those open limps. Even pre-ante, I hate them. No Tilt here says, hey, Dodge, good luck tonight. I have been on an awful streak as of late. No Tilt here. I'm sorry to hear that, man. He says, took some shots at Chicago Poker Classic, 360 entry, fired 4 bullets and whiffed all of them. I was in a good run, and this is kind of discouraging. I feel like I should take a break. What do you do when in a similar situation? No Tilt here, I take a break. You know, if you feel like you need to take a break, you should. If you feel like, you know, you're just hitting walls, everything that you try to enter just blows up, and you feel like, man, I don't know what's going on, take a break. That's good advice. You know, it's a big part of poker is kind of like, you know, it's kind of like playing baseball. It's, you know, it's as much about the it's as much about the swings that you don't take as the swings that you do and hit out of the park. You know, you need to, if you don't feel like you're going to be playing at 100% or 90%, and you feel like everything is going wrong, then there's nothing that is forcing you to put in another bullet in another tournament. You know, just take a break until you feel like you're going to just conquer the world. We got LA Sauce 101, 5 months in a row, you guys. Can we show him some love? Let's show him some of those Dutch crews. Dutch crew emotes for the resubs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thanks for the resub, man. Really appreciate it. Wow, look at John Sunk. Really quick check to us. I feel like we're going to get check raised if we fire out here. I'm going to do something I rarely do. I'm going to just check back. I rarely do that, you guys. But I feel a check raise coming. Yeah, now he fires out 400 into 650. You got it, Johnson. You got it. Yeah. Bingo Buddy. Talking about the Phil Galfond thing. I don't know that it necessarily should be poker news when Dwight Pilgrim doesn't pay back a loan. You know, I do think that players tend to keep their mouths shut when other poker players rip them off. There's a couple of reasons for that. You know, one being, just straight up embarrassment. They feel like, they shouldn't have put themselves in a position to be taken advantage of. And 2, they feel like somehow outing the person is going to reduce their chances of actually getting paid. I think, I've been in that same situation a few times. And I think that transparency is probably the best policy there. But you got to also kind of be careful because there are laws set up to prevent, people from just, having their reputation smeared for not paying back a loan. And when you out somebody publicly for not paying you back, you could be running afoul of an illegal attempt to collect a debt. You also, if the debt isn't a loan, if it was like somehow, not just like a straight up, I'm going to loan you some money and they scammed you some other way, then you have to worry about possibly, libeling somebody by accusing them of some sort of fraudulent act that now they can come back and say, okay, well, do you have proof that I oversold myself in a tournament? Well, then I'm going to take you to court. I think that there's not just a good yes/no answer, and I think, but I do agree with who said it. Who was the justice that said it? That sunshine is the best disinfectant. Does anyone know? I'm gonna look it up, but maybe one of you guys can type it in before I find it. I want to say Learned Hand is the best disinfectant. Quote. Brandeis? Was it Justice Brandeis who said that? Sunlight is said to be the best. Well, I guess he didn't really say it, right? He repeated it. Who said it first? I don't know. I guess Brandeis is getting the credit for that one. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. Yeah. I think that there is something to that. I for one, would kind of like to see, like Dan Druff has Todd Watellis has a site, Poker Fraud Alert. I would kind of like to see him actually have a wiki page on everybody. And this is kind of funny, being that I would probably have a little entry there from the whole Poker Spot thing, but I've been pretty open about that. I feel like, I can say sunshine is the best disinfectant and not be hypocritical because I've pretty much wrote 3 chapters on my black marks in the past. So yeah, I do think that keeping quiet is not going to help you get paid. I do think that. Legit DPS, it's good to see you in the stream, man. We got Timmy Timify. It's great to see you. And SD Bub is in the stream. Always a pleasure to see you, sir. SD Bub, chilling out with us. I hope that your Friday night's going well. Thanks for sticking. Thanks for coming by and saying hi. Gonna make the fold here with King 10 against Papaya's all-in ridiculous shove right there with ace jack. And wow, that's just a really bad call from Caro. I understand that it's a rebuy and add-on. Cowroo 1988. That was not a good call. Papaya getting that rebuy right away. We got Chinch Dog in the stream. Good to see you, man. Yeah, you know what? Against Suede Ass and McTierney and Kaoru, I feel like I can go ahead and see a flop here. We're getting about 3-1 straight up. And we have to worry a little bit about Kaoru and Gill's nuts, but not really. I think that we're almost always going to be able to see a flop here, and we're going to be getting 4-1 when all is said and done, just straight pot odds. Maybe even 5-1 if Gill's nuts decides to come along for the ride. So King Jack is kind of one of those hands that 4-1, 5-1 starts looking pretty tempting to see a flop. When you factor in the implied odds, as long as we can get away from it when we seem to smash a flop, but instead have a strong second best hand, as long as our reverse implied odds don't outweigh our implied odds, I think that we can profitably play this hand. Steven Rushing, I'll have to tell Eximo, he says, howdy folks, been at Disneyland the last 2 weeks. Do you work at Disneyland? Because man, 2 weeks is a long time to be at Disneyland. That's a long time to be at Disneyland, man. I mean, like I started getting burnt out after about 3 days, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no more Disneyland, never again. Rinclaw, thanks for don't take this the wrong way, but you are the dumbest smart person. I don't know how I can take that the right way, JP. Anyway, Timmy Timify says, Dutch, would it be bad if I told you that I voted for Paul Daywald to play the Venetian instead of WSP.com in his poll on stream so you wouldn't have to play him? I love playing Paul. He's awesome. We might actually be on the same team for that WSP tag team event. The Hammer Time. If you were to play some cash games on WSP, you feel you'd do well or be rusty since you mostly stick to the tourneys on here? I think I'd do fine, the Hammer Time. I don't really think that there's that much of a difference between cash games and early stages of a tournament. Cash games, you're going to usually be playing pretty deep. And, at this stage, 61-20, I don't really think that there's that big of a difference between a cash game and a tournament. Not that big of a difference. So cash games really, the big difference is going to be that cash games offer you the opportunity to select what tables you're playing at. I don't get to choose who I'm playing with here. If I did, I probably wouldn't play this particular table. I'd find another table that I didn't recognize anybody. I'd find another table where I didn't have a November 9 or 2 to my left. Yeah, I'd find some table where everybody had bony fish. That's really the difference. It's just a game. Cash games is all about game selection. As long as you're selecting the right game, then there it is. And Cash Grinder, New York LV, I'm not really sure how Fishman is doing. I haven't talked to him for a couple years. Flatty. Oh my gosh. Flatty's awesome. He says, don't take this the wrong way, JP, but I've been sleeping with your wife. That's pretty funny. LA to Mex. Yeah, I don't think I would play Tonka heads up. And it's like, oh, well, do you just admit that he's a better player than you? Heads up cash? Probably. I'm okay admitting that. He says you'll destroy him, I know it. I mean, I'll tell you what, I have a lot of live experience. And, you know, when you're playing heads up live, that counts for something. Being able to pick up on the small tells, that counts for something. I think technically his game would blow mine away when it comes to heads up, no limit, or heads up limit even. I don't know. I've played a lot of heads up limit. But, you know, the point is, going back to game selection, it doesn't matter. You know, poker is not about, you know, proving that you're better than the best. Poker is about finding the worst players and playing them. That's what poker's about. So, yeah, I'm not really interested. Not really interested. I also don't really think that I'd stand much, you know, I'd stand to gain much apart from the money. I don't think that, like, if I beat Tonka, I'd be able to, you know, take a lot of pride in that. I wouldn't be able to, like, have bragging rights. People don't even know who he is. I know who he is because, you know, he's on Twitch. I didn't know who he was before Twitch, to tell you the truth. I've watched him play, and he plays pretty damn good. So it wouldn't be like, you know, if I was looking for the best spot, that wouldn't be it. Maybe one of these days we'll make a final table and we'll get heads up for a bracelet, and then we'll see. You know, we'll get into one of those situations where, okay, you are going to play each other heads up. You don't have a choice, and here's what's at stake, and there's a lot at stake. Let's see who the better player is. I'll look forward to that. But that's pretty much the only way I would see playing Tonka heads up. Yumius is chilling out. Great to see you, Yumius. Lolac says, hey, Dutch, at work I'm on video a lot with my advisors, and I have adopted your fist bump to camera. And I think it's working for me. You should get the green screen too, man. Get the green screen and, you know, put like some weird thing going on in the background. You can like have video or something. Yeah, Skip. Thanks. I don't actually play on PokerStars. Sure you're thinking of my videos? Anyway, it's great to have you here. Yeah, I agree. LA Demex says, I don't like that the Canadians think they could beat us just because they play on stars. You know what? You're kind of poking into my my sense of patriotism here. I don't like that either. I think it's kind of funny. I mean, America has invented poker, basically. Sure, maybe it came from India or maybe it came from France, but let's get real. It evolved on the Mississippi River. It evolved in towns like Deadwood. It evolved in Texas. You know, it evolved in Vegas. And I don't think it's any secret that when you look at the top poker players in the world, the vast majority of them are coming out of Vegas and LA. In that order, I think. So Gills nuts. Gills nuts. It's good to see you, man. I have, yeah, I'm Mr. Observation tonight. Yeah, Gills nuts. Good to see you here in the stream, man. And I can't believe I didn't even. I don't know what I'm doing. I thought that you were saying that you were Beast Reaver. And then I look at and I've got Grinding and Ground saying, "Hey, Gills nuts is on your left, dude." I'm like, oh. He's directly to my left. Grinding and Ground, it's good to see you, man. I hope that you're feeling better. And Grinding and Ground saying, no XMO tonight. No, not tonight. I'll tell you what's going on. Her niece is on spring break, so she's hanging out with her niece on Ark, which is kind of like a tamer version of Rust with dinosaurs. It's just like she had me set up. She had me set up a little server for them, and they're trying to conquer the world of Ark together. They're trying to tame some dinosaurs to ride and craft weapons and stuff, and they're playing together and they're having a good time. And that is what life is all about. Spending happy times with family and friends. So she wanted to take. She's probably going to take the whole week off. She's probably not going to be back for a week and a half. But she's chilling out, and she says hello. So Gills nuts getting it in there with the best of it, kind of. It's really, pretty much every stage of that hand they were kind of flipping. What do you think, Gills? One more bullet. I think that you just have to keep on biting those bullets until that add-on period hits. You know, it's going to be a really big mistake to not get that 8,000 double add-on, that double stack for the 30. This $30 tournament, it can get expensive. It can be, we've had it be a $210 tournament before, and that sucks. That sucks. Oh, Grinding and Ground is going to stop smoking. Definitely wish you the best of luck with that. I was a pretty heavy smoker for a long time, my friend. You know this about me, but they don't. 10 years I was a smoker. Camel Lights was what I kind of ended at, but before that I was going Marlboro Reds. I was doing Benson and Hedges. Never really got into menthols. I'll tell you, it's a tough thing to give up, and it's one of those things that you miss. I still, every once in a while I'll like be walking June, and I'll just catch a whiff of someone smoking a cigarette, or I'll hear the lighter, and just get a craving, and it's just like, wow. The problem is you just know it's not something that you can ever just if you're going to quit smoking, you can never have another cigarette. That's how it is. Because if you have another one, then you haven't quit. You have another one, you're going to have another one, another one, and another one. And before long, it's going to be right back to dying with your old friend, Camel Lights. You know, it's a rough one. I'm supposed to be making a 480 here. Instead, I made it 520. Papaya's not going anywhere. The 8 helps us. So let's go ahead and fire out a half pot size bet and get ourselves ready to take the rest of it out on the river. Ace 10 is going to pay us off here. Ace Queen is definitely going to pay us off here. Yeah, let's go for it. I don't know what you're thinking there. What? What was that, Papaya? 9-10? Okay. Clan Cannabis just tried to fold my hand. I hope it wasn't the Ace King. We're going to go ahead and make the fold here. And grinding and ground. You know what? That's on our short list of games to check out. It definitely looks like, you know, Elder Scrolls Online. Definitely looks like one of those things that I would lose a year to. I loved Skyrim. I put in 1,000 hours into Oblivion. 1,000 hours? No, not 1,000 hours. 1,000 out Oblivion. That's what I meant to say. But that still took a lot of hours. It probably took 100 hours. And I love Elder Scrolls. Jonathan Love is saying, "Hey Dutch, any live events coming up for you? Good luck tonight." Hey Jonathan, first off, thanks for the good luck wish. I really do appreciate it. I can use a little luck in this thing. It's a tough tournament. It's a tough tournament with some tough cookies. We're going to try to navigate our way all the way through to the end. Swimming upstream. We can do it. We've done it before. But to answer your question, any live events coming up? I don't think I have any live events until the WSOP. I was looking at the schedule. Alan Kessler put out a list of all the major tournaments coming up between now and the series, and they're all none of them look like they're here in Vegas. It looks like my next live event is probably going to be at the series. I'm also going to play a couple of events over at Planet Hollywood. Got something kind of working with them. I don't want to announce anything yet, but have an opportunity to do something cool over there. I think got to sign some lines and cross some T's, dot some I's. But you guys will be the first to know, and it might be something that you guys might be interested in doing too. So just stay tuned for that. A big announcement coming up. Okay, maybe not a huge announcement, but it is an announcement. It's something I'm kind of excited about. Yeah, I think that the next live tournament I'm playing, for sure is going to be Colossus. Dog Miles chilling out with us. It's great to see you. Making the fold here with Jack 8 off. He says, great to see you, Dutch. Good luck tonight. Thank you very much, Dog. Really appreciate it. How many players left? Good question. Cash Grinder NYLV. We still haven't even finished the rebuy period. So 57 out of 62, 5 of those players giving us a little bit of an equity gift by deciding not to take the add-on, the double stack add-on. You got to take that double stack add-on. You always take the double stack add-on in the $30 rebuy. Yeah, you always do. It's just something that you have to do, and it sucks sometimes because this tournament sometimes can get away from you. It hasn't gotten away from us. We're in for one rebuy. We have more than starting stack. Oh, LA to Mex, you're telling me, man. Can't wait for this year's WSOP in Vegas summer, to be honest. I can't wait either. I'm counting down the days. It's just around the corner. I can't wait. Okay, Gills, we've got a pretty big hand here. We're gonna go ahead and make it 3x. If you shove, I call. If you call, I follow up with a C bet. Oof, that's pretty ugly. But it's going to be even uglier for you if you have got like an ace 10 of diamonds or something, or like a queen jack with no spade. So pocket eights is still supposed to be ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and c-bet like we'd do with any hand that we were coming at. It helps that most of the time against your range we're ahead. Most of the time against your range, You know, most of the time you don't have a spade, most of the time you don't have a king, and we're ahead of everything else, usually. F-Link saying, "Don't forget Morrowind, the best of them all." I've got a little confession to make, F-Link. A small confession. I think you know what I'm going to say. I never played Morrowind. I never played it. I Nuke Your Mom, great to see ya. I Nuke Your Mom saying, "Hey Dutch, can you offer any strategy advice on playing a roundup bounty tourney? Will be 40 players, with final 6 getting all the bounty money. This is an unusual format to me, but sounds fun." Okay, let me think about what this means then. So, does that mean that everyone has like a bounty chip? Is that how the bounties are going to work? That everyone gets a bounty chip and, or do... Yeah, I don't exactly know how this roundup bounty tourney structure is going to work. I Nuke Your Mom, so maybe you can... Okay, so if I knock out like 30 people of the 40, and then we're at the final table... 7 left, and you knock me out, you get those 30 bounties. So I Nuke Your Mom has an interesting question, asking what the right strategy is in a roundup bounty tourney. If you guys don't know what that is, you are not alone, because I didn't know what that is. But apparently, what it is the top X players take the bounty money. So in her case, she's thinking there's going to be 40 players. The final 6 players are going to get all the bounty money. Usually how a bounty tournament works is you got, I'd say maybe half the prize pool that's going to be bounty money, and the other half is just going to be a regular tournament. So in a 40-player tournament, let's say in the very first hand I knock you out, right? Most bounty tournaments, I would get money right away. I would get like half of your entry fee or a quarter of your entry fee right away. In this bounty roundup tournament, how it works is I take that bounty chip and I kind of keep it with me, and you know, it's like every player I eliminate is another bounty chip, and I take the bounty chips and I put it in front of me, and whoever knocks me out gets all of my bounty chips. So if I knock somebody out who's knocked out a lot of people, I get their bounty chips. And then if we end up in the top 6, that's when we get the money for all the bounty chips that we have in front of us. It seems to me that the right strategy for this kind of thing is, early on, when there's 40 and 30 and 20 players left, you're not really going to be paying that much attention to the bounties. It's not going to really change your equity equation that much. It's going to give you a little bit of equity, having a bounty chip in front of you is, having a few bounty chips in front of you, is going to, they're worth collecting for sure. You shouldn't be shying away from getting these bounties. Just recognize that the more you have, the more you're kind of putting a target on your own forehead, making it more worthwhile and more lucrative to knock you out. When it gets down to, 8, 9, 7 players, where now people are actually looking at the bounty chips as, wow, that's going to be money for somebody here at the table. You have to recognize that the more bounty chips that you have, the less fold equity that you're going to have. So you have to start kind of open shoving earlier than you otherwise would in a normal tournament. If you have 15 and 16 big blinds in front of you, normally I feel like that's kind of an awkward shove. In a bounty tournament like what you're describing, that any less than that, and you start getting to the point where you just don't have any fold equity. 10 big blinds and you shove, and someone has 19 big blinds, and they look over and they realize, well, I don't have the best of it, but if I knock you out, I get all of those bounty chips. So the only way that you can avoid that big target on your forehead is if you have everybody at the table covered. So if you find yourself with a big stack, you need to just be really aggressive with it, opening every hand when it gets down to that kind of 9, 10 player range. Don't let yourself get so short stacked that you don't have fold equity. And normally in tournaments that means around 8 big blinds. In a bounty tournament like what you're describing, it's going to be more. Recognize that the bounties themselves add equity to any sort of situation you're in. So you can take slightly the worst of it and still be, running at plus EV. When you get down to about 7 players, 8 players, you need to look at your stack and just make sure that you're not going to get knocked out before the bounties are rewarded, assuming that you have more than a few. And if you don't have, more than 3 bounties in front of you when it gets down to 7 or 8, then you probably should go out of your way to force confrontations with the players who have the most bounty chips in front of them, especially if you have them out-chipped. But the main difference that you're going to find is that you're going to have less fold equity than you otherwise would in a tournament, I Nuke Your Mom. So 3-bet shove, much heavier, much deeper than you otherwise would as far as like your chip stack. 3-bet shoving with 21 big blinds, 22 big blinds. Usually I would say, man, that's a mistake. But in a bounty tournament, it's not. And open shove heavier than you normally would. 14, 15 big blinds, you should be pretty much open shoving. 15 to 25 big blinds, you can 3-bet shove. Chances are that the structure is not going to be that forgiving, where you get down to 8, 9 players, probably the average stack is going to be low, like 9 big blinds, 10 big blinds. That's usually how it goes in live tournaments. I'm going to go ahead and make the raise here, 600. 600 with the offsuit connectors. Fire out the same amount, 600 into 1520. Wait for that trailing digit. And we get our answer. Making the fold against Kaoru 1988. It's a pretty wet board. You could have anything, but remember what we say. If the flop scares you, it scares them too. There's a lot of hands that he's going to look down at a 10-9-6 board with 2 spades and think, you know what, that's pretty wet, and I think Dutch has a little piece of it. So I'm going to fold my ace jack. I'm going to fold my pocket 3s. I'm going to fold my pocket 5s against 5-4 offsuit. I'm going to fold my, ace 8? Yeah, I think so. I think he folds that. King queen, he can fold that, or he can just check call and fold on the turn. Mozilla, 6 months in a row, guys. Show him a little bit of crew love. Great to have you here. One more month. Mozilla, thank you so much. Thanks for supporting the stream, supporting the channel, sticking with us another month. It's really awesome of you. Really do appreciate that. AlexoXO, it's good to see you. He says, haven't been here in a while. Yeah, I missed you, man. He says, you probably have been getting asked this a lot, but do you have any plans on playing in New Jersey on Stars? Sorry if this is asked so many times. I don't think that I'm going to be flying out to New Jersey just to play on Stars. I think that if I happen to be in the neighborhood, then sure, I'll play. But I don't have any plans on like making a move or doing anything drastic like, you know, picking up the family and moving to Jersey. I think that probably if PokerStars is somehow able to pull the magic trick, pull the rabbit out of the hat, and somehow get New Jersey to agree to interstate action or international action, so that if you're playing from New Jersey, you're able to play with with players from Canada. You're able to play in the Sunday Million. You're able to play with players from the UK and everywhere else in the world that isn't segregated. If that happens, then I think that maybe I'm going to move to Jersey. I think so. I've been thinking about moving to Canada, just so that I could play on the Sunday Million. But I keep on just coming back to, I really love being in America. But shoot, New Jersey's still America the last time I checked. And Hoboken's pretty nice. Jersey City seems okay. They got Cory Booker. Can't be all bad. I think that I would make the trip. I would make the trip, and I think I would move to New Jersey if we could play the Sunday Million from Jersey. But I think that once that day happens, I feel like there are probably going to be interstate compacts between New Jersey and Vegas, and PokerStars will be back in Vegas before they're trading New Jersey traffic with the UK. What I'm saying is, when those international compacts happen, I think that I can just stay here in Vegas and PokerStars will be here. I could be wrong. Look at that, guys. We have 10 players who decided that, you know what? I don't want the double add-on. I don't want the double add-on tonight, guys. I'm going to go ahead and give you my $30, and you guys can take this $300 and do what you want with it. We got BBB, Dahani, DJ Pogi, R-Win, Vegas Player, Sin City, Cheatsk, Leebs, EP Lefty, and Lone Star Lou, all deciding that they've got better things to do than put in another $30 and get a double stack. So 4 of those players already have Boney Fish in front of them. I feel like I should just Boney Fish all those players. Kim Unger asking a pretty good question. Saying, I'm playing a PPC main event tomorrow. What are your thoughts on being on time versus showing up late to tourneys? In this case, registration is open for 9 half-hour levels. We play through 16 levels on day 1. I don't think it's a good idea to show up late, Kim. I think that generally you should be trying to show up on time and, get all the early hands. Because I'll tell you, when you're playing early, when you're playing 25-50, no ante, and everyone has 10,000 in front of them, everyone has 200 big blinds, I will tell you, if someone stacks off, that's a huge mistake. It's a huge equity mistake. Somewhere. It's going to be a mistake between one of the players. And maybe some guy got it in with aces against queens, and the queen hit the turn after they got it all in pre-flop, and you'd say, well, the aces didn't really make a mistake, and I would say that's true, but the other guy made a huge mistake, so there was a mistake that was had. Okay, sure, there's going to be situations where both players have aces and one of them flushes out and they got it all in pre-flop, and then you're like, well, no one made a mistake there, Dutch. Okay, you are right. You are right. There are going to be some situations where someone stacks off when everyone's 200 big blinds deep and no player made a mistake. Sure, you got me. But in general, I think you'll agree that if someone stacks off when the average stack is 200 big blinds deep and there's no antes, then someone made a pretty big equity mistake. And you want to be in the situation to take advantage of those. You also are able to correlate behavior, tells and betting patterns to strength and weakness a lot more often early on, because players tend to be a little bit more liberal with their chips when they don't really feel threatened. So you're able to see more hands go to showdown early. You're able to see the spots that leopard has. Do leopards have spots or stripes? Leopards have spots, right? Doesn't matter. The point is, the only reason that I can say you should show up late is if maybe you had a rough night the night before and you think that you're going to be a more plus EV player, getting another hour and a half sleep, or getting a good breakfast in, maybe getting a run in. I think you can also say, well, the early levels don't really matter, and my time is worth more, so I just don't have the time to waste in in the early levels of a tournament. Well, to that I would say you're no Phil Hellmuth. How much do you really think that an hour's worth of your time is worth? If it's worth that much, then maybe you shouldn't be playing a tournament to begin with. Show up. Go with Woody Allen and says, how much of success, what percentage of success is just showing up? Poker, it's a big chunk. Show up for the early levels. Let people make big mistakes, against you. See how they're playing. And for everybody else who starts showing up at 7:00 and the very latest that anyone can sign up, just know that they're probably brain surgeons. They probably just got out of brain surgery and they probably rushed it. So some poor some poor Joe is sitting there with a messed up brain surgery because his doctor needed to get to a tournament on time. Too bad for him. But you don't have to worry about it because you showed up on time. Right? Yeah. I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to go practice saying the word surgery. What's up, guys? Surgery.
You need surgery?
Surgery. No, I've been practicing.
Why?
Because we're back.
Oh.
And, it's a little 6-3 offsuit action here. We're back. The add-on period is over. Open up the lobby. 74 players remain, 63 add-ons, which means 11 players besides the ones who got eliminated. Looks like there were 12 players who got eliminated. $13 players eliminated before the add-on period started. Banana Anna coming in with a raise. And yeah, this is an any 2 cards defense spot. We've got position. The only player we have position on. Five kind of helps us, gives us some outs, but we're not going to see them. So we're going to just make the fold here against Banana Anna. If we were going to try to take that that pot, the flop would have been the time to do it. Making the fold here against Papaya. And Gil's nuts. I like it, Gills. Good luck, man. Good luck, Gills. Finish him. Take him down. Papaya's all over the place with his pre-flop opens. I've got some notes on Papaya. You know, Papaya has made it to a lot of final tables, but Papaya also puts in a lot of volume. I'm not convinced that he's crushing. And I've seen him make some really bad plays, the kind of plays that I actually take note of, sit down and write down so that I remember why I have Papaya with a bony fish on top of him. And I'm not saying that Papaya is not capable of great plays. I'm just saying that I know he's capable of really bad ones. Jack 2 offsuit, making the fold. Making the fold. Skip. Saying, what is your WSP preparation strategy? Man, I'm having some issues tonight. Do you crack open raw eggs at 6, ready for an early morning jog? Is it? It is the heavyweight championship of poker after all. I'm trying to get into a workout regimen. Trying to get into it. Usually, I just try to get a good night's sleep and have a good breakfast. But I think that this year I'm going to try to hit the gym before I play too. We'll see if that actually happens. It's happening in my head. Gamer Grill, good to see you. Is Exmoa here? I don't think so. Yeah, Gamer Grill, Exmoa is in the room, but she's not in the chat. Doherty asking, "You gonna play the 20 KO?" Nah, I'm not. This is gonna be my swan song tonight. Hopefully we go late. Hopefully we get to the final table. We win this tournament, and maybe if we win it, or if we get second or third, and we want to keep the stream going, if we get a lot of people hanging out with us, if we get like 500 or 600 people watching us at a final table, then we'll fire off something else. But not planning on it. I'm going to just kind of focus on this tournament. One tabling it, ace-8 offsuit. What do we do with it? We're going to make the raise if everyone folds, 680. If someone raises, I think I'm going to make the fold. If someone open limps, I'll make it 680 plus the open limp, 960. Yeah. Here we go, 680. Wait for it to get to that trailing digit. Right there. And Gills Nuts, Astro Boy both decide to make the fold. That means we will have position in this hand. Johnson CK decides to call. And what do we think? King 3-3 looks pretty good. Let's fire out the same amount, 680. And Johnson, if you check raise me here, I think I'm gonna probably re-raise you right back. I don't think I'm ready to admit defeat with an ace high on a king 3-3 board. So, little queen 10 offsuit. We're going to play this exactly like we played the ace 8. Yep, 680 if banana Anna folds. 960 if banana Anna limps. Fire out a C bet if we're up against one. Half pot if we're up against one person here. Same amount if we're up against RS and Mike. Half pot if we're up against 6 Johnson CK. And if we're up against multiple opponents, well, then we'll just take it as it comes. And yeah, we'll go ahead and fire out a half pot size bet here. Bony Fish, good to see you in the stream, man. Bony Fish says, take this one down, Dutch. I'm going to try, man. I am going to try. We take it down, which is, it's okay. Any heart, and we start kind of worrying about our hand. Sleeping Guy, good to see you, man. He says, how are you, mate? Got my first kind of big tournament tomorrow, 10K for first place. I like to think your stream has definitely helped me get there. Sleeping Guy, good luck tomorrow, man. Definitely let us know how it goes. I would love for that to be a happy ending. Yeah. I would love for that to work. I hope that I hope that you win 10,000. 5-figure scores are few and far between for sure. So good luck tomorrow, man. Play your heart out, and don't overestimate the competition. Know that you've put in a lot of time on your own game. The very fact that you're here chilling out on a Friday night and thinking about poker already puts you in the top tier there. So good luck, and I hope that the Twitch let's transfer some Twitch run good to you, man. I hope that you just take it down. We got Matt chilling out with us. It's great to see you, Matty. Cash Grinder NYLV says, KK, I'm new to all this. Is there a delay? How do you know your opponent isn't watching our hand? So Cash Grinder, there is a delay. It's about 4 minutes. And basically how it works is, here's how it works, okay? I'm gonna type in to chat exactly what I'm saying right now. I'm going to type into chat at Cash Grinder. Type into chat and say it on stream. That's how the delay works. So right now we have 5-2 in real life. You'll see it. You'll see it in a few minutes. Yeah, so right now we have 5-2 in real life. You'll see it in a few minutes. What do we do with it? We're making the fold. Okay, so basically everything that you're seeing happened a little bit in the past, and I'm talking to you in the future. That's basically how it works. And I can see the chat in real time, and I can respond to it in real time. But I can only respond to it in the chat. When I talk about the chat, like right now you said, oh, snap, nice. When you talk about the chat, it takes a few minutes to catch up. And that's how it works. That's the problem with Twitch and poker. That's one thing I don't like about playing poker on Twitch as opposed to playing any other game on Twitch, is that other games don't have any delay. So you can actually interact with a video like in real time. But poker, you have to have a little bit of a delay. Otherwise, it's exactly like what you said. You do get hole carded. You get people who are thinking that they're going to be able to see your cards and play perfectly against you, and they punish you. I'll tell you, we've had it happen a few times in the past where a player would try to make a hand go very, very long. Take, the whole time, hit the time bank, the whole time. And in the river, they're hitting the time bank. They're hoping that the delay is going to catch up. And it has in the past. One time it has, and I felt pretty lame about it. Now, what do I do to avoid that? Well, if it looks like a player is trying to take advantage of a shorter than needed delay, then we just turn off the stream and they don't get to see it. Oh, 609. Hey, Michelle. 609 says hi. He says, did I hear Eximo was playing Ark?
Yeah.
I loved that game until I accidentally hit my tamed dinosaurs when I went to open a door and they all killed each other. That does suck, man.
Oh my God.
That does suck.
No, I only can tame a dodo.
Yeah.
Tamed.
Racist Bobby, good to see you here. He says, great stream, Dutch. Thank you.
Glad Bobby we know that
Thank you,
Bobby's
racist Bobby. Making the fold. Cash Grinder, New York LV says, I play online in a hoodie too, Dutch. Makes it feel realer. Yeah, it feels real. It feels like live poker. It feels like when I'm looking around, I'm hiding. And look, here's my emoticon right here. I'm wearing a hoodie, my emoticon, so why not in real life? My avatar. That's not an emoticon, that's an avatar.
really angry at the snake. I keep on dying.
This is an emoticon. Let's get some pizzas on there. Pizza emoticons. Making the fold. I would be raising usually, but I made some pizza emoticons instead. Joshua Kane, good to see you. He says, boom, just got my third royal of all time. Third royal, look at that. We have a royal behind us, and you get your third royal of all time in a crucial moment on Bovada. Nice job, Joshua Kane. Happy to hear it. What suit? Making the fold here with the Jack 4 suited. I kind of want to raise. Let's do. We can make a raise here. We get through. That's good. This is good. Nice emotes, Edswood. Like them. Does everyone have those? Do I have those? I do. That's pretty awesome. Okay, guys. Garlic with the unbeatable hand, taking down Cody for a 10k pot. Doubling up. Nice hand there, Garlic. Making the fold here with 3-5 suited. Gary Hotmail, how you doing, man? He says, hey, Dutch, good luck. How's it been going? It's been going pretty good. I've been having a pretty good March. February was a little rough. March is good. March is good. Looking forward to the World Series of Poker, getting a little, getting one day closer every day. Everything's good. Edswood 7. I'm with you on that, man. So I stopped doing the Humble Monthly after the first month. I signed up for the first month, and then I was like, wow, this is a shitty deal. I could have gotten I didn't really want any of these games. I don't like the idea of paying for games that you don't know what they're going to be. It's just kind of silly. I love Humble Bundle. Don't get me wrong. I love Humble Bundle. Yeah. I don't like paying for games that you don't know what's going to be. So we have 609 saying that's a pretty sick background. Thank you. 609. 609, it took me all night to paint the wall that... No. That's just a picture. It's just a picture. Making the full call 9-7 offsuit, getting 5-1. Let's do it. 10-7-4. Now what? Now what against 3 opponents? That's a tough one. I'll check. If it goes check, 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 we'll fire out a bet on the turn unless it comes like an ace or a king or a queen or a jack. Seattle Pro, good to see you, man. Privyet Moya Droog, it's great to see you in the stream. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to see Seattle Pro. Click you. Okay, what do you guys think? 6-5 offsuit, Garlic 5876, going for that open limp. I think we do it. Let's pot it up. Expected value, nice username. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the chat. Sheena Naveed making the call. Okay, let's half pot it up. We've got a little bit of that. We're up against Ace King or Ace Queen, right? Right, Sheena? We're ahead. Ethling saying, so I've been watching this Alice documentary on the moon landing, and it is pretty apparent based on math that stuff never happened. Real or not real. If you're asking if the moon landing happened, I'm going to go with yes. Yes, the moon landing actually happened. Yes. Let's make the call here against Garlic 5876. Yeah, but Eds would, if you have 600 games, I know that you would play them, but like, do you play them? That's the question. That's the question. And keep in mind, what is it, $12 a month? You can take the $12 and get a game that you really want to play at the time you want to play it. Things are always going to be on sale on Steam. You can go with humble bundles where you know what you're going to get. I think 12 Humble Bundles where I know what I'm getting is better than one Humble Bundle monthly that I don't know what I'm getting. And, man, you start looking at those G2A codes, and it just seems like, okay. I do wish that I would have gotten the Humble Bundle monthly, though, when Ark was in it, because, the other thing, too, about having a lot of games, a lot of times those Humble Monthlies come out, and you have the games that you just bought. Like this War of Mine coming out here pretty soon. That is a great game. I love that game. Definitely worth the $12, just that game alone. But I already have it. Okay, making the raise here. We'll make it to 900. $10-5 on a 3-4-4 board against two opponents. I think that we're going to just go ahead and give up. Well, it's tough. I want to value bet. My heart says value bet, but my brain says check. We're going to check. Little jack of spades. We're done with the hand. We're just done with it. Why don't you just sneeze this pot, Sheena? Raise with your king jack right now. Just bet your king jack. Ugh. The worst thing about this hand, guys, is if Johnson CK checks and we check too, then we actually have to show our turret of a hand. We have to show how wide we are pre-flop. We get exposed. Yeah, so Jack 8 and Ace 9 is what Sheena Naveed had. I don't think they were ever getting that pot on the flop. I don't think Sheena Naveed is folding Ace 9 on a 4-4-3 board. And if Sheena Naveed calls, Maybe Johnson CK folds and doesn't overcall. And then maybe we can take it on a turn bet. Maybe. Marmax81, good to see you, man. He says, Dutch, being in Vegas, have you ever dabbled in sports betting? The reason I ask is I have been doing it professionally online for the past 6 months and just curious your thoughts on it. Marmax, my thoughts on it are, the gambler in me knows that sports betting is potentially beatable. And as a beatable gambling game, I'm interested in sports betting, but I don't believe I can beat it. And I'm not convinced that a lot of people who are doing it, professionally are beating the game either. I think that a lot of times, I'll ask professional sports bettors questions like, so where can you get a database to back test your system? And they'll just look at me with this blank look like, no, that's not what I do. I just watch the games and I just am better at handicapping than the crowd. Like, okay. A lot of people went broke thinking that they were, that they had an edge. In my experience, if you don't know you have an edge, usually you don't. And in sports betting, I feel like that edge can happen, but I think way too many people are just betting their guts, and that's a quick way to go broke. Let's go ahead and make it 900 here. I think that there are probably systems that you can develop, algorithms that you can come up with, and ways to beat the line, ways to beat the bookies. I think line movements, definitely, if you can come up with some ways to arbitrage lines. I mean, that seems like a no-brainer, but the lines are pretty good. When there's been white paper after white paper on this. When you get a large community of people all putting their money on something, what you have is a prediction market. And that's usually pretty accurate. You get hundreds of thousands of people all putting money on what they think the chances are of a team beating another professional team, and already the chances are pretty even just by definition of them both being professional teams or college teams or whatever, best of breed teams. Let's make the check. So when you factor in the vig, your edge has to be pretty big, and I'm not convinced that without having testable hypotheses, things that you've come up with a system and you can actually test it. Wow, look at this. How do we fold this hand? Well, we fold it like that. That's how we fold it. We look down and we say, I don't think that an ace-8 is actually going to be good here. And now we actually would have hit our third ace, and yeah, look at that. I'm kind of glad that Garlic made the call, so it's easier for us to fold when it's just going to be an overcall. If Garlic would have folded, I think that I'm probably making that call against Sheena Naveed. Making the fold here. I love Rust, Marmax. Yeah, Edgewood, like This War of Mine, and South Park this month, both great games. Both of them are already in our collection. So it would just be throwing money away. Hey, but if you don't have This War of Mine and you don't have South Park, definitely this month is gonna be great. It's gonna be great. This War of Mine is so good.
South Park's really good too.
South Park is so good. South Park is a great game. JCCE510 says, hey Dutch, everyone leaves the poker table when I'm winning fast. Does that mean I need to move up in poker stakes or just change tables? Because I have to leave the tables for like 5 minutes before it fills up again at 2 cents, 5 cents. I don't really know what you're talking about, man. So you're saying that when you win, everybody leaves, and when you lose, they stay? Is that what you're saying? I mean, you're playing 2 cent, 5 cent, no limit. I don't think that. I don't think that moving up in stakes, to 5 cent, 10 cent no limit is really going to change anything. I wouldn't take it personally. They're just doing their own thing. I don't think that players at that limit are saying, "Oh my gosh, look, JCC E510 keeps on winning and winning. It's time for me to go find another spot." I don't think that 2 cent, 5 cent no limit hold'em players are really practicing game selection. And I imagine there's just something is coming up, and you've got a small sample size, and you remember the times when they leave. This is what I would say to you, Marmax. If you think that you're beating the game, then that's great. I'm happy for you. But examine where your edge comes from. Because if your edge comes from you being able to just watch a game and know in your heart which way the game is going to go, well, then I think that you'd be better off playing the lottery and just knowing in your heart which way the numbers are going to fall. Because it's basically the same thing. Unless you have some sort of testable method that you can back test, and you have you have a database of line movements, and you have a database of all the actual sports matchups and how they played out, then my guess is that that the edge that you think you have, you don't actually have. That's my suspicion. And you can say, well, look at the results. I've been winning. Okay, that's great. A lot of poker players win without having an edge. And I'm not saying that you don't. I'm just saying that unless you can show it, unless you can prove it, then you probably don't. Unless you can prove that you have an edge, you probably don't. In tournaments, it's tournament poker. Can we prove we have an edge? Well, yeah. Yes, we can. We can go back over hundreds of thousands of hands. We can show what each tournament is worth on an ROI level, and we can say why we're beating it. We're beating it because of players who make bad calls and bad shoves and over shoves and open limps, and there's certain players that we play against who are going to be winning players. Yumius, for example, I don't think we have a huge edge against Yumius, but a lot of these other players we are going to have edges out on. When we open up our lobby and we can say, okay, look, there were 87 players who entered this tournament. Only 63 took the add-on, which means 24 players decided not to get that double add-on. They paid $30 for 4,000 chips. We paid $30 and got 8,000 chips. So there's an edge there, and we can show it. We can prove it. We can play this 3K guaranteed nightly 200 or 300 times and say, look, we had a 40% ROI in it, which would be pretty high, maybe a 20% ROI in it, and we can come up with we can come up with some some models to say what are the chances that we would have that ROI if we didn't have an edge, and then we can say, well, do we still have an edge? Well, it's the same players playing it. We can prove it. If you can't prove you have an edge, you probably don't, and that's true in every form of gambling. Look at blackjack. Lots of people think they have an edge in blackjack. Edward Thorpe knew he had an edge, and he could prove it. He could show it. Video poker. Lots of people think that they're beating video poker or don't care. A lot of people think they're beating slots. A lot of people are like, oh, I just walk around and I get a fuzzy feeling when I'm around a slot that's about to pay off, and look at this great big check I got. That's proof. That's all the proof you need. No, that is results-oriented thinking. And I'm not saying that slots machines can't be beaten, because some of them can. Some of them can be beat. How do you figure out which ones can be beat? And it's not by walking around and checking your gut. I don't see much of a difference. I don't see much of a distinction between walking around a slot machine and feeling it in your gut that it's going to pay off, and watching a sporting event feeling in your gut that it's going to pay off. I don't see much of a distinction. I actually think that beating slot machines and beating sports is very similar, because the people who are beating slot machines, and they're out there are a couple people who have made 7 figures beating slot machines. How do they do it? Well, they mathematically figure out variable state machines, where they are, and what kind of inflection points they need to be positive EV. There's some similarities there between, beating a slot machine and beating a sports event. There's some similarities there. But I'll tell you, I hope that you can keep on crushing it. I hope you can. It's not, and Marmax, the thing is too, it's not just so much about beating Joe Public. These lines, the bookies try to balance the line. The bookies don't care about Joe Public. They're trying to get the lines balanced so that they have the same amount of money on, well, not the same amount, but proportionally the same amount of money, so that they get the odds right. And they want to get to a point where their lines are balanced, so it doesn't matter who wins. A bookie that doesn't have a balanced line, they're basically just betting as well. And they're betting with better information than just a random person could. But if you don't balance your line, then you're doing something wrong. Bookies need to be laying off their action if they're too heavy on one side or the other. The idea is bookies make their money not betting against the public. They make their money by charging their vig, and that's where their money comes from. That's where it should come from. Otherwise, they're just gamblers themselves. Here we go. A little ace king off suit, and we got nuts in your face, just shoving so quickly too. You know what, nuts in your face? I'm going to make the call. Well, I guess I can just shove, right? Shoving and calling is basically the same thing. We're going to make the shove here. Pocket nines against ace king. We get the king right off the bat. We get the ace on the turn. Can we dodge the 2-outer? We do. Oh man, Gamer Grill. So yeah, we get nuts in your faces money, making that overshove with pocket nines. You're never really getting called with weaker pairs there. I don't think that I'm looking at pocket sevens and being like, yes, snap call. No, it's only when I have bigger pairs, jacks, queens, kings, aces, Maybe not even jacks, but queens, kings, aces, or ace, king. I'm folding ace, queen. Most of the time he's going to get through and pick up the 900, 1100, whatever, 1425. But when he doesn't, he's either going to be crushed or he's going to be flipping. Okay, a little 8-2 offsuit. Is this going to be an any two card situation? No, not with that all in shove. Little pocket jacks. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Banana Anna making that 1387 raise. Yeah, let's go ahead and make it 3900. Banana Anna shoves. Do we call here? Pocket jacks? Maybe not. You know, I don't think the Banana Anna has pocket tens. So we're hoping that we're in a coin flip situation. Ugh. Okay, we got Umius coming in with 1200, that min raise. Yeah, we'll go ahead and make it 2.5x, 3000. Here we go. And what do we do if Umius shoves? Probably call. Probably gonna have to call if Umius decides to go the whole way with that one. Wow, A6-4. Yeah. Fire out 3000, same amount. Now we hope that Umius has like an ace, queen, ace, jack. It's a call. Wow. Umius making the call. Well, let's check back, I guess. Fire out a half pot size bet if Umius checks. If Umius bets, then do we have to max it out? I mean, I feel like we're a lot more often looking at an ace queen hand or an ace jack hand who's going to pay us off. Than a set of fours. So yeah, let's go ahead and try to go for value here. We'll just try to knock it out of the park right now. And if Yumiya says ace queen, I don't know what I would do in his spot. I think that I'd be making the call, and it sucks. I think. He makes the fold. Yumiya, if you got away from ace queen there, if you got away from ace jack there, hats off to you. Hats off to you, because that's a tough fold. Making the fold. Yeah, getting it right now. Let me see here. Little ace deuce off. And AJ Schmidt says, I 3-bet full jacks like it's my effing career path. I think that's what he's saying. My freaking career path. It's pretty funny. Seattle Pro likes to fold with jacks. And Seattle Pro says, I like to fold. Your stack and your edge over the field are too good to risk it on a coin flip. And that's assuming it's a coin flip. I'm not convinced that it was. I think that we were probably looking at way the worst of it. But if we're folding jacks, I mean, how far are we taking that up? Am I also folding queens there? I don't think that I am, man. I don't think that I have it in my heart anymore to fold queens pre-flop in these 30s. Mickey Blue Eyes not liking that check on the turn, and this is what I'm thinking, Mickey. The reason I'm checking that turn is because that's how we would play it if we didn't have an ace. So let's play it that way with the ace too. A lot of times Yumius has taken a line there that's kind of like a float. It's like an out of position float. Where he check calls, and then if we check the turn, he's going to fire out the river. And a lot of times when he does that, he is drawing stone cold dead or dead to 2 outs, where we're not going to get the bet if we fire out on the turn, but we do get the bet if we check back. That's the idea. I'm not that worried about the monster under the bed. I'm not that worried about the flush draw in that situation. I think that we are up against a weaker ace, we are up against a smaller pocket pair, or we're up against an out of position float. So let's check back and make sure that we get some, max value out of the hand. If we check back and then he checks on the river, we get a fire out of bet, and it doesn't need to mean an ace. If he fires out a bet, then we get to raise him sometimes, depending on what the river comes. Gosh, D. McCoy, why do you make me want to just pot size this? Why do you do it to me, man? 9, 8, 2, making the check. And Yumi is thinking that we would be stacking him if we bet the turn. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. So D. McCoy, I'll make the raise here. Let's go ahead and get that pre-flop initiative. Let's set ourselves up for a C-bet post-flop. We're getting called. Right, D? You're going to call us. No? Okay. He is. Oh, man. And Mac Tierney, going to go ahead and get that bony fish for you. Firing out the same amount, which was 2,500. Yeah. We'll see what Mac Tierney does here with a queen 4-3. Check folds. We don't actually need the 4 to c-bet, but when we have the 4 and we figure we have the best hand, that helps. 11 out of 41, boys. We're going to be right back. Don't go anywhere. Lots of great poker action left to happen. Hopefully this is a good tournament for us. Hopefully we make that final table. Hopefully we make that win. How much is it for first? 2,030, $2,000. I'll pick it up. Be right back. Okay, guys, we're back. We're back. Seattle Pro has a question. He says, what's your advice? Maybe you have an article on this for counting other people's stacks and the size of the pot while playing a live tourney. I've been playing online so much that when I go to the casino for the first time tomorrow morning, I feel like it's all been a blur. Hold that thought. Let's go ahead and make the raise here to 2,500. We do it with 9-4. We do it with Ace-King. That's a pretty good flop for Ace-King. Yeah, I'll make the call against you, Mac Tierney. King-Jack, Ace-King. Oh. Fucking brutal. Fucking brutal. 3 outed for a 54,000 pot. Going the wrong way. That was a pretty critical pot. Making the fold. I feel like throwing up all over my keyboard. Just shake it off. We still have 18,000. We still have 23 big blinds. Let's do this. 54,000 pot. Mac Tierney just shoving 3 times. Is that what that was? He just shoved. How much did he get in there? He had 22,000, so 2.5 times a pot, basically. Just shoving 2.5 times a pot with King Jack. What are you getting called with that you're not just crushed? So, that sucked. File that for bad beats. I think I'm going to put together a little stream of bad beats, you guys. I'm going to take the 3 seconds after like a 2-outer or a 3-outer like that, string them all together, and just have a little party with it. Put it as a YouTube video. I'll come up with some real awesome background music. I don't exactly know what it's going to be, whether it's like a happy background or like a really, really sad background. I don't know yet. But tonight we have 2 of them. We have the aces cracked against the queens, 2-outed. We have the ace-king versus the king-jack, 3-outed. The ace-king versus the king-jack, not as bad, right? I mean, we're only about 90% to win that one. Maybe even less, because I think he could have runner flushed out, right? Chris Mod, good to see you, man. It's been a little while. Let's get some Dutch crew emotes for Chris Mod. Great to have you. And 11 months in a row. That's almost from the very beginning. Thanks for sticking with us another month. Yeah, really appreciate that, man. Really appreciate that. Ermakov saying Privyet. Privyet moya drug. That means hello, my friend. Hello, my friend. Привет, moja drug. I think it's. I like that. I'm going to try to do all my Russian with a southern twang. Привет. Привет. Good to see you, Emerkov. Thanks for stopping by. English only at the tables. Okay, so Mac Tierney making a 3x, and I think that this is going to be our. This is our go home hand. We get called with weaker, so let's get called with 8s here, Mac Tierney. King Queen is weaker. Whoa. Dodge that 10. Dodge that king. Dodge the. I say in there, Mac Tierney. See, I hate that call because he's never actually ahead there. We're never shoving with King Jack or Queen Jack or Queen 10. I absolutely hate the call with King Queen. Ace King, Ace Queen, yeah, fine. Make the call. Pocket 8s, pocket 9s, make the call. But when you're sitting there with King Queen, hoping to be a slight dog, I hope he has a smaller pocket pair, so I'm not a huge dog. I'm just a small dog. It's just a horrible, horrible call. And this is why we can make money playing poker, because of those kind of calls. Those are the kind of situations that we look at and say, this is why we have an edge. This is where it comes from. It comes from players like Mac Tierney making really bonehead calls, making really bonehead shoves. So there it is. Same guy. And yeah, it's not really a bad beat. It's not really that big of a bad beat, 10s versus King Queen. What is a bad beat is that we even get called to begin with. I mean, if you're going to lay down King Queen, that's a good situation to do it. I'm shoving for 21 big blinds. Make the fold. Find the fold. Jeez, I wonder how bad he would be making the call with. I mean, if he has like ace 3 offsuit, are you making that call, Mac Tierney? I mean, that's a better hand than King Queen, right? And you could be making the call hoping that I have King Queen or Queen Jack, because that's kind of what you're doing, making the call with King Queen anyway, right? I mean, you're so sure that I have Jacks, you can read through the computer and just know. You're so sure that I have 10s that you're just going to be a slight dog. It's a coin flip is 50-50. You're not 50-50 with King Queen against pocket 10s. You're like 45-54. Hey, anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. That sucked. I'm going to feel kind of crappy for the rest of the night, but I'll be back tomorrow. What is it? It's Friday night, right? Friday night. It's early. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow at about 5 o'clock. I got a couple of friends coming into town this weekend. Everyone else, I hope that your grind goes well. And thanks for hanging out with us. Hope to see you later. Boom. Catch you later. Oh, hey, by the way, make sure to click on that follow button if you haven't yet. I'm talking to you. I know you haven't yet. I know that you were just kind of hanging out, watching the stream, and you haven't clicked the follow button. It's a little heart button right underneath the stream. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like the video and whatever. Who cares about YouTube? Come to Twitch. Twitch is the deal. If you're watching on YouTube, come over to twitch.tv/DutchBoyd and watch this kind of stuff live. Watch it as it happens. Watch the raw emotions when they come. I'll be back in a little while. We're going to be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock roughly, to play that weekend warm-up. Hopefully you'll join us. And if you're on the grind, good luck to you. We'll see you later.